Well, welcome back to another video. Sorry it took so long, but well, life is busy and I've been completely sidetracked, but as you saw in the last one, we did make it back with the wheels. Very excited for it, but yeah, I didn't expect to make that trip. It just kind of popped up and I couldn't say no to it. So yeah, now I can actually show you. Yes, I did end up getting lucky and I found me a set of 08 to 14 factory BBS STI wheels, and they're not, you know, clean and beautiful. They do need some cleaning, but like, I'm just being straightforward and honest. But it's always been something I've had my eye on, and it popped up and I was lucky enough to snatch them. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this adventure goes, and this car's got a lot of work. I've got a lot to do with it. Wheels, paint, tune, just there's a lot. So hopefully I can get a lot of it on video for you guys and share the experience and share the fun. I really do want to see where all this goes. As you can tell, I'm not, you know, too big on YouTube, and I've never really done this much in my life, so figure I give it a shot and see what y'all think. You know, feel free to leave comments, you know, subscribe, share. Now we're gonna head on over and we are gonna start this oil change, because Betty was due before winter, but well, winter hit and I do not really drive her in the snow. I want to try to keep the rust away. I want to try to keep her nice and clean. So I'm gonna get this oil change started, and yeah, so let's get that going. Okay, well, that was fun. I know, a little unconventional. The poor old Betty is a little low to drive up on those ramps. So, instead of trying to get it up, put it on jack stands, figured it'd be a little bit safer on the ramps. So, it might have looked kind of, but it's alright. Oil change. If you're watching this and you haven't really changed your oil before, it's not that hard. All you really got to do is get it up on jack stands or grab it up on a ramp. And if you see, if I can get it here. Oh, nope. If you guys can see, you got your oil pan, you got your drain plug. It will be various sizes, but you have your drain plug, and you got your oil filter. And so just make sure you have the correct amount of oil. You have to keep the correct oil filter number for your specified car. Don't mind it being dirty. I have a lot of cleaning in this car to do, but yeah. So yeah, so you get that. You get yourself a oil drain pan, and until you really get to know your car, getting the right socket size is almost always a guessing game. So give me a second here to get this figured out. Figure out what size I need. Like this is gonna work. What is that? 15. So that's probably going to be a 17. We are learning together. Oh. Perfect. So it's a 17. And more likely it's going to be a half. And scratch it. So, right is tight, left is loose. Most of us know that, but I always like helping. You get it all nice and snug, and don't crank on it, don't really push on it because you can't strip out your bolt, and if you strip out your bolt head, you're not in for a very fun time. So just kind of be good with it. There we go. That's loosened, so that's one good sign. Alright, so you can make sure you loosen that, but before you drain that, I have learned over time of changing oil, I would always go for the oil filter first, because I have ran into times where you've got to take like a flathead, jam it through, you got oil running on your arm. Just always try to get that first. It's always a fun time. Found my tools. I try to be a little more prepared, but I don't always have much luck, but we're gonna see today. Oh, nice and easy. You just take it slow. You're in too much of a rush, things don't go over very well. So once you loosen it, you will have oil that will be draining and running down, just like so. I'll just try to be careful with it. You can sit and let it drain like that if you want, or if you're feeling up to the task, you just grab it and spin it off and have oil running down your arm, but totally up to you. I do not judge. But this oil is definitely dirty. She definitely needed changed. Alright, let's go for it. Oh yeah, look at the liquid gold. Beautiful and dirty. It's the blood of your engine. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. I forgot a rack. Don't forget a rack, cause yeah. Always a fun time. Alright, well, that's at least half the battle there. Alright. So, check that out. Make sure your surfaces are nice, not marred, no debris stuck in it. Does not look like it, so that's all a very good sign there. Now you will have oil dripping, so take a rag that's not very dirty, because you don't want debris stuck on here. If you do have debris, yeah, when you put your new filter on, it's not gonna seal, and you will have oil leaks, and you don't want that. So, all right. So first task, oil filter check. Next is your drain plug, but since you were already a step ahead and it's already loosened, it shouldn't be very hard. You just loosen a little bit more and crank it off by hand. If you can't crank it off by hand, you have other issues, and you might need to consult with somebody. So, I've been through my fair share of bad plugs. It's not a fun time. Also, side note, some of you may or may not have a crush washer. It's a part that you put on your drain plug, so when you screw it into your oil pan, you'll crank it and it'll crush and it'll create a seal. If you have one, you cannot forget to get one before your oil change, because you put it on without that, you're not gonna have a very good time afterwards because you're gonna redo all of it again. Like, I have one just like so. Crush washer goes on your drain plug. Ooh, that is coming out very fast and it's filling up. Yeah. That's
alright, it's going down.
That's not fun. But yes, if you're lucky, it won't overflow.
Move your hand with the washer in it. So, as you guys can see, there is a little vent there. Always make sure that your vent is open or it will actually overfill.
I don't think I'm covering the
No, you're good. It's going
drain
down.
hole, but yeah. And also, never reuse your crush washer. You reuse it, it's no good. Oh, that rag went quick. Always have a lot of rags around, because you never know. And then just take your time, because you rush, you're gonna have dirty oil still left in here. You get that dirty oil with the new oil, your oil changes. It's a little pointless. Once again, check your surfaces. You want them to be clean. You want them to be nice. Alright, well, that's done. We are going to dispose of your last crush washer. And I will grab a new one. Like I said, you always need a new one. Your new one's gonna look something like this. So you'll have the flat part, and there's another part, if you can see, it is curved. So what you want, I always get confused. I believe you want the flat part against the head of your drain plug, so when you crush it, it'll crush onto the oil pan. See, just like that. One side is flat, one side is curved. So you want to do it as such. Take that flat part on the head. Curve is going to be facing your oil pan. So do it just as in reverse order. Always make sure you put this in first, because if you don't put this on and you do everything else, you pour that oil in, yeah, you're gonna have to buy more oil. No, that's not a fun time either. So once again, loosey, righty tighty. Go ahead, since you got that on, move that out of your way and give you some more space to work. Obviously, this will be easier if you have a lift or access to a lift, but if not, ramps or jack stands and a jack work just the same. Like I said, and when you tighten it, you want to go nice and snug but you don't want to overdo it, because if you do, you're going to strip out your thread at the end of your oil pan, and yeah, you're going to have to get a new oil pan for that. So clean up around the area, make sure everything's good, double check it just in case. We are going to check it again afterwards. Yep, nice and snug, don't overdo it. Next is optional of which way you want to do it. I prefer to I guess pre-soak the oil filter. Everybody's different. Some people do, some people don't. But what I do is you pour oil, you fresh oil, some of it into here, let the oil filter soak it up. So when you start the car for the first startup after your fresh oil change, it'll already be pre-soaked. You don't have to worry about that too much.
That's fancy.
Nice. Now what I am using on my Subaru is modal. It's basically the closest equivalent to Japanese oil. Subarus really like this oil. This is always my go-to choice, 5W40. You can use 530 as it recommends, but in my experience and knowledge, always go 5W40. But that's new. I haven't seen that before. I like that. That'll make everybody's life a lot easier.
Minus this part.
Yep.
Because we all struggle with those.
Yep. This is true. So, like I said, just fill it up until it's got enough in there. You can't really put too much, but if yours isn't straight up and down, if yours is sideways and you do this and there's extra in here, you're going to make a very big mess. I've done that before. I spin it around to make sure everything gets soaked in, so that way you don't have too much when you go to put it back on. And always take some of your fresh oil. Always lube the black ring, so that is what seals it to your oil cooler or block, whichever way it's made. And so that way next time you go take it off, you won't have such a hard time. I gotta go find the second rack. Alright, I got myself a neat little rag, more or less just paper towel. It all works the same. So, pre-soaked. Now you want to spin this on. Make sure you don't cross-thread it. You cross-thread it, it's not fun. Get it on. It should always thread on easily. If it doesn't thread on easily the first couple of spins, or even the first spin, there's something more. So I would take it off and double check, but it should always, almost always, spin on easily. And when you tighten it, don't ever use a tool to tighten it. That is probably one of the worst ideas you can do. What you want to do is tighten it by hand, and then try to get at least another like 1/8 of a turn, at least. Okay, that should do it. So then we make our way up top And yeah, so obviously to get better accurate reading, put your dipstick, clean it, and took it out of the way, nice and neat. Now I have a Subaru, and you can do it on any car honestly. I have an AOS, air oil separator, so instead of gumming up your lines, it will cycle the air through, go into here, it will return whatever oil happens to be in these lines back into the oil pan, and the air will disperse as how it needs to. So not everybody will have that. Most of you guys won't. I forget what size this is. No, it's 17. Nope. Should be a 19. Yep. Alright, now you got to figure out whether through manual, online, how many quarts your car takes, or if it's been modded like this one, it should hold an extra about 2 quarts. So you just got to check that, or you could add in at least 3 quarts and then check it. You could do that, it would work, but always find your spec, so just so you know. What I usually do is get some in here, take your time, pour some in, and then get back under and double check. Make sure it ain't leaking. Everything look nice and tidy there. It's clean there. How about the oil filter? Yep, oil filter looks good. So we will continue as we do. Alright, so I'm sure you guys would want to see me dump all the oil in. So once you put it in, you know, at least 3 or 4 quarts in, it's always safe. Take your dipstick, put it back in. Now you probably won't get a complete accurate reading because you will be at an angle, but you want to do that, and then find light, check your stick, make sure everything is good. This is nice and full, so I think we are ready to go. Put everything back together, button it back up, and you should be pretty finished up. Too oily in hands. Well, after you get everything buttoned up, double check, dipstick's back in, lid's back on. You already put your filter on, you already put your drain plug in. So next thing you do is you get in, start the car, and let it run and warm up, check for leaks. Never ever pull it off until after you have checked for leaks, because you know, we drive down the road and all of a sudden something happens because you didn't check. There wasn't any leaks. As long as you don't have any type of knocking or ticking, you should be in the clear. If you ever did hear that, turn it off right away. Alright, so let it warm up and idle. You're back under. You're gonna check your plug and your filter. And one of the best things you can do after an oil change. See nothing there. Nothing there. So once you do that, shut it off and let the oil drain back down to the oil pan. And give it, I don't know, give it a couple minutes because it will be at the top and the sides, wherever else. Let it drain back down and double check your level because it completely got cycled through. As long as it's on the full line, you should be pretty okay. So yeah, we're gonna end it off here and see you guys in the next one. Not sure if we'll be maybe getting these tires off of these 5-spokes onto the BBSs or what's gonna happen, but we shall find out together. All right, see you.